Emerald and Mercury, two characters that have really stood out since their introduction at the end of Volume 1, as I'm guessing which was intended with their aesthetic, especially their fighting styles, the way they interact with each other, which is quite hilarious sometimes, but more recently not so much, and the way they interact with other people around them. They are similar in age to our main protagonists, Team RWBY, Team Juniper, and yet their situation is vastly different. Neither of them ever intended to be anywhere close to where they are. Emerald was a petty thief until Cinder found her and coerced her into joining her side. Mercury was, yeah, he was raised as an assassin, but we don't even know if that's the life that he wants for himself currently. Yet, obviously seeing the situation, not being fooled like Emerald was into thinking that Cinder actually cared, but more taking advantage of the situation and seeing it as an opportunity to, shall we say, get a leg up in the world? Pardon the pun. Took advantage of the situation, joined up to get a better standing and move forward from killing his father. But with that, Cinder got them to join up and eventually led them to take part in the fall of Beacon, in fact being two of the main people to infiltrate the school along with Cinder. And then it led to the fall of Beacon. Cinder, or Mercury, was it Mercury videotaping it? Yeah, it was Mercury videotaping it, and he was enjoying it. Emerald's slightly horrified, and then we get the big reveal of Salem, and their situation darkens. As Cinder's not the big bad, Salem is. And when they were brought to Salem's hideout, well, both of them showed a little bit of, shall we say, concern, disgust when they got there, and I'm guessing neither of them are all that happy at that point with their situation. Now, I'm not even sure if Salem really gave the okay for Cinder to recruit these people and bring them on, because Salem's main faction, Cinder, Tyrion, Watts, and Hazel, all handpicked by Salem herself. Emerald and Mercury, not so much. I doubt Salem really cares though, because in her mind she could probably take care of them and wipe them out in the blink of an eye without caring too much about it. Which is true, hence why they're just there, and Salem really pays them no regard, even when, you know, Emerald was first about to talk to Salem in Cinder's place because Cinder was a little bit deaf. Salem shut that down right away, and even Watts was told Cinder, was it Watts or was it Tyrion? I think it was Watts, told them to keep a rein on your underlings, Cinder, things like that. And since then, they've been, or at least Emerald has been, increasingly displeased with their situation. Now that Cinder is no longer at Salem's hideout, or really in that grade of standing with Salem, I'd say their situation has become a little bit more precarious. Emerald has already been forced to turn against Cinder by Salem asking her directly, who was it who caused Haven Academy, or the attack on Haven Academy, to fail? Well, that was Cinder, and Emerald was the one who had to turn her in. Now, Cinder probably wouldn't look too kindly on that, even though there was no avoiding it, but yeah. Emerald now wants to go after Cinder because she doesn't know why she's there, as we found out in Volume 6. Mercury, however, is not being supportive at this point, again, pushing Emerald away and probably pushing her to leave. As, you know, Mercury's pointing out the obvious, wake up, Cinder never cared, she never will. You know, well, I can't say she never will, because there might be a turnaround at some point in this series, but she doesn't care at this point. She never cared about you up until this point. And if you're going to have all an emotional pity party, just leave him out of it. Mercury's not really that great a guy at the moment, but he's just filled with rage. I feel that he will come around. But more to the point, the question has become not if Emerald will run away from Salem. I think it's going to be, when will Emerald run away from Salem? I initially thought it was going to be at the beginning of Volume 6. However, that didn't happen. So, I believe now that there is an even better opportunity throughout Volume 7. Because in Volume 7, I believe that Salem's hideout is going to be pretty much abandoned, except for Emerald, Mercury, and Hazel. We don't exactly know what's happening with Hazel at this point, just that he's not really in the greatest standing with Salem either, as, you know, he lied about Cinder being the reason that Haven Academy's plan fell. But Tyrion and Watts have gone off to Atlas to prepare for war. Salem is raising her army, and I believe that she'll lead that army herself, so she might not actually be at her hideout. So that'll give Emerald the perfect opportunity to leave, because we all know she wants to. She doesn't see a point there, and Mercury, the only person that she could actually talk to and, you know, trust in that place, is not really giving her much support. Plus Tyrion's messing with them, so I'm guessing she just doesn't want to stay at that point, and she wants to go find Cinder. So I'm guessing she's going to try to escape at that point, when the base is unguarded. Now, she could easily get past Hazel with her semblance. She has the semblance of illusion, and since it'll only be one person left there, she can easily use it on Hazel, escape, just walk past him, making it seem like she's not even there. But Mercury would probably let her go, I guess. He'd probably say, you know, if you're going to be a coward and run away, then just go, type thing. I don't think that Mercury will leave with her initially. I believe that he will go after her eventually once he gets over his anger, as he's struggling with, shall we say, daddy issues at the moment. We found out that Mercury's semblance was taken by his father. He went through daily beatings to be trained as an assassin until he was finally a good enough assassin to kill his father, and then his semblance never returned. I feel like his semblance did return, it's just mentally locked in his mind or in his body, because aura and semblance are an extension of the soul, and Mercury's soul is under great turmoil and anger right now. So I believe he'll eventually get that back. At which point the return of the semblance will most likely be because he has let go of his anger. At which point, he might not desire a standing in the new world that Salem's creating, and hence he will follow Emerald, realizing that, okay, she's a good friend, maybe he'll realize he loves her. I don't know, partners in crime, anyone? But at that point, then he'll go after her. Emerald's escape, however, she'll likely be able to get past Hazel. How she'll get away from the Dark Continent, though, is another question entirely. We saw in Volume 6 that Hazel, Emerald, and Mercury came in on an airship. I don't know if it was an autonomous one, that it was remote controlled, or whether there was an actual pilot, but someone can get an airship to the Dark Continent. So Emerald could either go to a hidden base somewhere on the Dark Continent, and yes, I'm calling it the Dark Continent because we don't really know exactly what continent it's on, or where it's even located, so I'm just going to call it the Dark Continent. So there's a possibility that she'll be able to get an airship and get away. Once Salem figures out that she's gone, however, ain't no possibility that she's going to be able to escape unscathed, because she knows where Salem's hideout is. She knows how to get there, and she knows the plans that Salem has. So if Salem finds out that she leaves, well, guess what? She's going to be targeted. Probably Hazel is going to be sent after her, as Tyrion and Watts are already preoccupied. Cinder is off doing whatever, unless there are other, shall we say, admins, or leaders in Salem's faction that we don't know about. Because when we see the table that's in front of Salem's throne room, I guess, there are 6 chairs along the sides of it, and then Salem's throne. So there might be 2 other people, leaders in Salem's army, that we don't actually know as of yet. Possibly make a separate theory video on that as we learn more. But it's probably going to be, as far as we know, Hazel sent after her. Now, Hazel might let Emerald go and just tell Salem that he did end up killing her, because we already saw that Hazel wanted to protect Emerald, or protect Cinder. In that case, I don't know why he wanted to protect Cinder. He felt that he was responsible for the loss as well, so he tried to take responsibility, but it wasn't really his fault. He was still fighting the main enemy, so still. Hazel is a very honorable guy. He wants to take responsibility, and I'm guessing he wouldn't want to see Emerald just killed, or at least wouldn't want to do it by his own hand. At which point, he'd probably bring along Mercury with him, because I'm guessing wouldn't leave Mercury alone in Salem's faction. And maybe at this point Mercury might say, or might have said when Emerald escapes, if I see you again, you'll be my enemy type thing. I don't exactly know, but we'll see how it ends up playing out. I do believe, though, that once they do find Emerald, Mercury might end up joining and leaving at that point. Whether he wants to or not, Hazel might just say, this has never been any place for you to, just get out of here, and so on and so forth. Where she'll go, however, I'm guessing is Vacuo. I don't see any reason why Emerald or Mercury would try to escape to Atlas, as well, with pretty much martial law being instated that, you know, everyone's going to be under pretty much house arrest as the war is going on. Atlas is preparing for the war or a battle. Salem is going to bring them that battle. There's no reason for them to go there. Most of Salem's army and attention is going to be there. They're going to escape to Vacuo, the lawless country, someplace that they could just disappear into the back alleys and hopefully make a life for themselves, possibly enroll at Shade Academy. Maybe they'll encounter Team Coffee there. We'll have to see what ends up happening, but I do believe that Emerald will escape from Salem. Not if, but will. And I believe it's going to be Volume 7. Maybe Volume 8, depending on what Rooster Teeth decides to focus on for Volume 7. Throughout Volume 6, there were little snippets of Salem's faction, and mostly depicting Emerald's displeasure with being there. For Volume 7, they might just focus on Atlas, and then Volume 8 is when we get a little bit of Salem's side, or Emerald's side of things. Maybe it'll only be in the finale of Volume 7, but I still believe that Emerald will leave Salem in the next volume, maybe the next 2 volumes. Another possibility, though, is that Salem doesn't actually lead her army to Atlas, and if that doesn't happen, then Salem will still be present at her castle in the Dark Territory. And with that being the case, Emerald's going to have a lot more difficult time escaping. I don't know if Emerald's semblance would actually work on Salem, because she's got some, you know, inhuman powers going on there. So her illusion powers might not actually work. That being the case, Emerald might try to use her illusion powers on Salem, but she doesn't know they don't work, and then Salem sees her, throws her in prison. And then it's up to Mercury to rescue her, because Mercury will then maybe realize that this isn't the place for him, or that Emerald is more important and try to help her escape, and then they'll both escape together. But the point still remains, I still believe Emerald will be the one to try to escape first. Mercury seems pretty comfortable where he is, except for Tyrion, of course, messing with him. But we'll see how it ends up playing out. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, how you think Emerald and Mercury's escape is going to play out. I do believe it'll be Emerald first and then Mercury following, or Mercury helping with the second attempt and then both of them escaping. One or the other. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Let me know your ideas. I look forward to seeing them. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't for more videos like this, and I'll see you guys in the next video.